Hello, my name's Helen. I'm going to take you through a dumbbell workout. So you need, please, a set of dumbbells. We are going to be mixing between upper and lower. So it's up to you if you want to have a lighter one for the arms and a heavier one for the legs and keep switching between. If you just have the one, that is absolutely fine as well. Make sure you're working to a weight that's not so heavy that you feel pain in the wrong places or you start feeling it generally in the wrong place or you're having to kind of compromise on your technique a little bit. And so always take breaks and rest where needed. We're going to warm up. We'll do right side first, then left side. Then we're going to do both sides together twice. So let's come down to the floor. Careful of your weights. Come down to the floor. There's some cat and cows, hands under the shoulders, arch your back and around your back. Lift your head and tuck your chin. Perfect. And then reach your right arm up and thread it under the left, and then switch to the other side. You may like to take your knees a little bit wider apart to help keep your hips stable. Now, anytime when we're working through the warm-up, what we're aiming to do is do some similar movement patterns to what we're going to see in the workout, and/or push-ups on the knees, please. Just take your hands wide on the chest, drop your chest between the elbows and straighten. You also might like to walk your hands further forward, bring your hips further forward. Do them on the knees because, yes, the point of the warm-up is it should feel gentle to start with, and we gradually increase range and intensity to get closer to a workout level. So at the moment, it should feel quite nice. Tuck your toes and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Just tuck your chin so the head and neck can relax. Na, 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 na. Perfect. And then coming up to standing for squats, feet wider than hips. Drop your hips back and down. Oh, my legs ache from, actually my whole body aches. Body pump yesterday if no one's ever done it. And I ache. Also do backward lunges, feet hip distance, lunge back, drop your knee towards the floor, step in, switch legs. I want to make sure I don't kick the dumbbells. Whoops. Dropping the back knee to find some depth, but leaning slightly forward into the front leg. So you should feel the front leg working more than the back leg. Perfect. Good morning. Feet under the hips, fingertips to temples. Pull the elbows apart and then push your butt back. Stand up. Your knees are slightly bent and then the knees don't move. The knees stay over the heels. The bum pushes back and up. So you should feel a stretch on the back of the leg. You keep your shoulders higher than the hips, so it's not that we're rounding through the back. Come back to squats. Now, each time we go through these, you might find you can go and sit a little bit deeper. You want to check that your posture remains good, and you're not massively arching the back, folding or rounding through the back. Alternating forward lunges this time. Step forward and then push yourself back up to standing. And again, this is round one, and we are going to go for a second round. So if you're feeling that you're not quite ready to go into a deep lunge, don't. Mini lunge is good. In fact, I'll always encourage to reduce your range before you're warm. Good mornings again. Squeeze the upper back, hinge. Remember, keep the knees soft and move your butt backwards and away. The only reason your chest comes forward is because your bum has moved back. So thinking about it more about hip movement rather than chest movement. Perfect. Let's do it all again. So come back down to the floor, please. Cat and cows. And just see if you notice any changes in how you're feeling. We're hoping that the heart rate is starting to rise a little bit. The muscles and joints feel a little bit warmer. It's always quite nice to include some stuff on the back, especially if we have sitting or standing jobs where our spine can be quite static. Maybe knees wider apart, alternating thread the needle. Maybe you can reach further and it's still quite comfortable. Don't want to again go into pain, but it might just be that it just feels easier to do the same thing as the last round. Maybe you're not noticing a difference yet, in which case, push up on the knees. You might even want to add a third round of these. Hands go wider, maybe shifting the weight forward, drop your chest between. and push up. So this is round 2. You're trying to just get a little bit deeper by bending the elbows more, not by dropping the hips to the floor, but just by bending your arms and push. Perfect. Downward dog, paddle your feet. Tuck your toes, maybe hands more narrow, and push one heel towards the floor and switch. Let the head and neck relax. Perfect. Coming up to squats. Add a little pause at the bottom this time. Squat down, have a little pause, and then push. Squat down, a little pause, and push. So starting to use that pause to think, how much depth have I got now? Am I working towards my full range? Full range, you're aiming for roughly thighs parallel to the ground or button line with the knees. Alternating backward lunges. Lunge back, step in. So this time around, you're working to slow it down and see if you can get your knee a little bit closer to the floor. It may even just very gently tap the floor. Gently tap is the key word. Perfect. Good mornings again. This time we're going to tip slowly. So you're going to tip, 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 and then stand up. Now, as you stand up, check that you don't overshoot like this. So we're going to come back to just standing. Tipping, then tipping, and rise. Feel the stretch, and then the squeeze. Perfect. Squats again, and that little pause again. So also starting to get rid of some of the momentum, not just pumping it out, but starting to really feel the strength of our legs starting to come into play. Getting ready to add our weight. Alternating forward lunges. Lunging forward, drop your knee towards the floor. Push back up, and again, hold carefully these dumbbells. Maybe you can get your knees to tap the floor. And the way you push back up is by pushing the floor away with your leg rather than yeeting your upper body. Perfect. Good morning, same timing. We're going to slowly tip, stand with a bit of oomph. Na, 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 na. Na, na. La, la, la. Perfect. Have a little break. You need your dumbbells. Dumbbell. You need one dumbbell, please. So we're going to work the right side first. In pretty much all the exercises, it's going to be the dumbbell in the right hand. I'm going to tell you when you need to switch. So we just need the one weight, please. We're going to start with a single arm bicep curl. So hold the weight in your right hand, turn the palm to face forward. Keep the elbow underneath the shoulder, and then just bring the dumbbell towards the shoulder, and then straighten the arm fully again. Let's go, 45 seconds. So curling up and lowering down. Don't dig your elbow into your body. Just let it hang under the shoulder. You're aiming to really try and straighten your arm at the bottom, because this part here to start the move is the weakest part of the biceps. We want to make sure we get it stronger by training it and getting it there. Now, all this time we're working with one side. The weight's on one side, we want to be like this. So we're always going to be slightly working our side waist just to try and keep us as balanced as possible. So while it's all single-sided, it's massive core work as well. Perfect. I'm going to keep the weight up on the right shoulder. If you need to, you can hold it down to the right. But you're going to step the left leg back to a reverse lunge. So left leg's going to lunge back and step in. Left leg again and step in. So leaning into your right leg. So while the left leg is doing the moving, it should be the right leg that feels the work. Now, if you're massively feeling your left thigh and knee, it's because you're leaning back a little bit. So try to make it so you lean forward, and that's where you're getting the right leg to do the work. Left foot's just really there for a bit of balance. Bum, bum. Na, 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 na. Bum, bum. Oh my God. You know, so my legs are achy. They are tight. This is tough. Perfect. Go to a single arm shoulder press. So you're going to, from this position, just push the weight up, checking that we're not leaning massively out, and then lower it back towards the shoulder. Here we push up and lower down. Now your shoulder is a small muscle group, so if you're struggling to get it up, then just punch it up with the legs, but then go slowly all the way down. So you might need to thrust it up and then slow as you can on the way down. If you can though, keep it as strict as possible. Up and down. Your left hand, by the way, I've rested mine on the belly just to try and keep myself twisting. You can have your arm out to the side, whatever helps to kind of help you as a counterbalance to not just lean out. I want to be as neutral as possible. So shoulders stacked over hips, hips over knees. Perfect. Going to do a kickstand deadlift. So bring the hand down. So right hand's in front of the right thigh, maybe slightly to the side. Your left foot, just take it back so the toe is tapping down slightly, really close to your heel. Then we go for a single leg hinge and then stand up. We hinge and then stand up. So the weight is in the right hand. The weight is also in the right leg. And it's still trying to hinge evenly and not just completely shoot out over to the right side. So it's the same hinge position we did in the warm-up. The difference is the weight is trying to make you round your back and come forward like this. And we're trying to resist that by keeping our spine long. Now, a common thing people try and do is take the weight all the way to the floor. You'll probably only go to the knee or mid-shin before you start to round your back. Perfect. Final one, and now we're going to switch hands. So take the weight into your left hand. So it's going to be working the right side. You can have your hand out to the side or fingertips to temples for more. You're just going to bend and then stand up. Bend to the side and stand up. So we're bending to the left, but it's the right side of the waist that's being stretched, and therefore it's squeezing to stand you back up again. So if you find it too much with your hand up, keep your hand a little bit lower, and you're in control of the range. The further you can tip, the bigger the stretch, therefore the bigger the contraction. If you need less, you make it a little bit smaller. After this, we get a mini break before we do the other side. And depending if you're left or right-handed, and that might well have been your dominant side we've just done first. And relax. So just be prepared. You know what it feels like on one side. If we're about to move into your non-dominant side, you know it's going to be more challenging. So you're going to have to try and lock in everything a little bit more to help with the stability. So you're stable, you can start to really move the weight. Are you ready? Left side, let's see how it compares. So when you're ready, pick the weight up in your left arm. Get the dumbbell underneath the shoulder, arm is straight. Lock your body and then curl up and lower back down to straight arm. Curl up and lower. Bum, 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 bum. Now, same thing with the, with the shoulder press. If you're struggling to get it up, you may well need to just use your body a little bit, but then really try and control the way down instead, making sure we get to a fully straight arm. So you might even need to use your hand to help it up a little bit. Depends how your strength varies between right and left. But essentially, do what you need to do to curl it up. If you can, it's as strict as possible, but we're trying to really control the downward phase. Perfect. Get the weight can either stay by your hip, or for a more challenge, it's up on the shoulder. And right leg is going to move, left leg is going to work. Come to a reverse lunge and step in. Lunge back and step in. You do not need to rush. You can do this where it's a bit slower. Got more time. The second your knees and hips are bending, you're in tension on the legs. So you're starting to have to train your muscles. So if you're doing it slowly, it doesn't mean it's easier. If anything, it can often be harder because it's more time where your muscles are tensing. And again, choose where you want it to be as a counterbalance. Check that you've not shoot your hips out to the side just because the weight's on one side. So to keep everything as neutral as possible. Bum, 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 bum. Nice, coming to a single arm shoulder press if you need that little break. Then get the weight onto the shoulders, press it up towards the ceiling and then lower back down. Press and lower. The fact that if you're using the same weight for your arms and your legs, it really might be a struggle with the arms. Maybe it was a bit easier on your legs. but it's do nudge it up if you need to, especially if it meant that you were kind of doing this to get up. I'd rather you thrust it up and try to keep as stable as possible. So a big thing we find is we tend to want to go like this and arch, but try and keep your ribs towards one another and your ribs close to your hip bone. Boom. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, perfect. Taking the weight down, just slide the right foot back a little bit. Again, it's not way back here where you're going to find you really unstable. You just simply slide it to the heel, lifting your toes in line with the heel, and then hinge and stand up. Your right toe is so light on the floor. It's just there to help you not fall over. Your left foot is supporting all the weight. I'm hoping to still feel that stretch as the bum moves back and up away from the knee. And then as you stand, lift your chest and drive your hips forward. So you're pushing into the ground as you lift and drive, and that's where we start to really target the back of the legs, hamstrings, bum, and also working our back to make sure we're not rounding and collapsing through the spine. Perfect. Side bend, so we're switching hands into the right hand. Choose your hand position with the left hand, oosh, 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 and then bend and straighten. Some of you might know I love a side bend. While I'm doing it, I'm like, cool, this feels quite nice. Feels quite nice on my back. It's, I feel it pulling. I feel like if I poke it, I can feel it contracting. So I know it's working, but it doesn't feel that hard while I'm doing it. And then the next day, I always feel it's worked. I'm like, oh, every time. But yeah, I quite like something that's, you know it's working you, but it doesn't feel so hard doing it. Sometimes I love a challenge, but I love that this is an exercise that, in my opinion, personally, doesn't feel as challenging while I do it. And while most of my clients feel the same. Most. And dump it, have a little shake off. Right, we're going to go now and blitz through 2 rounds back to back to back. So this is your last long break, 30 seconds. Have a little sip if you need it. We're only going to have a 10-second break before we go again. So we're doing both side, both side, both side. 1 round, whoosh, do it all again, done, apart from the stretch. So when you're ready, pick up both your dumbbells, please. Both palms are turned forward, and we're curling up towards shoulders, and then lowering back down. Now, if you're finding, oh my God, I am struggling, you've got 2 options. Actually, I'll show the first one. You can do right arm and then left arm. That way you are working 100% of the time, but one arm is always getting a little bit of a break. It's also going to really work the obliques from not twisting. The other option you've got is to hold the one dumbbell in both hands. So if you need to, this is there for all the exercises we're about to do. So I'm only going to demonstrate it once, but you have the option to just hold the one dumbbell like this. Yes, perfect. Alternating reverse lunges. Palms by your sides, or walk them up onto the shoulders. We lunge back right leg, and then we lunge back left leg. So we're doing both sides alternating. You should really feel the work in your front leg. So not bolt upright like this. This is a perfectly fine exercise to do, but I'm hoping that we really feel the front leg dominant, which means lean into it. Think about your front leg dropping you down and then contracting to stand up. And if you think about balancing on it as well, if you think about balancing on your front leg, you'll naturally find you start to work it a little bit harder. 10 more seconds to go. Perfect. Shoulder press. So if you've had them up, you need a little break and a shake, then do. And then walking onto the shoulders, we press both arms up, lower down. Press both and lower. If you struggle, you know what to do. You nudge it up, but control down. Or right, left, or hold the one dumbbell if you need to. Every time the weight's overhead, check that You've not come into this position. Keep your ribs down, keep your tailbone tucked under. So you really need to brace and keep your body as stable as you can to really help you power the arms. It's tough. Anytime you're working small muscles like shoulders, it's tough. It's tough, so please don't be discouraged if you need to go to a lighter weight. Perfect. Coming into deadlift. So the dumbbells front, maybe slightly to the side of the legs. Feet are underneath the hips. Did I say dumbbells? Deadlift. And then you hinge and stand up. Hinge and stand up. So now the weight is even in both of your feet. You pushing your bum back and away from your knees. Feel the weight shifting towards the heels. And then feel that weight transfer again. So you drive down through the feet as you lift your chest and simultaneously drive your hips forward. So it's a lift and hips push forward. Checking that we're not way over thrusting. So don't go like this, just come to a full stand, a normal stand. Feel the difference when you've got two weights in your hands. It's more pressure to try and round through the shoulders. So keep them pinned back. Perfect. Alternating side bends. Just keep both hands down by your sides. And then we're going to go right and left. Some people like to add a little pull and a lift. You're more than welcome to do that if you like. Or just keep both arms straight. So remember, after this, we've got no break, pretty much. Just 10-second break to go and do it again. If you ever need it for your grip, you need to put the dumbbells down, please do. Join in when you can. I'm going to give you options in this second round to advance and intensify the lower body. And you have the option to do the moves, or specifically the first one, with weights or without weights. And I just want to reiterate, they are an option to advance and they're not compulsory. So see what you like. Coming to bicep curls at the end. Round two of both arms. And then we're done with cooling down and stretching. Palms forward. Curl up and down. What I'm hoping is your arms are feeling tired, your legs are feeling tired, your core's quite tired. In just 30 minutes, including the warm up and the stretch, and we managed to work the full body. If you ever get to the end of a workout, by the way, like, God, that was easy, I would thoroughly recommend investing in yourself and investing in some heavier dumbbells. We should never finish thinking, I could have done so much more, unless you're having one of those days where you're like, oh my God, I've got to take it so easy. But generally, we're aiming for it to feel like a struggle by the time we're at our final set, our final reps of everything. It should be tough. Perfect. You can have the weights here. You can have the weights down by your side. We're going alternating lunges, so you can stick to where you were, or you can add a jump. So you lunge and jump, switch legs. Lunge, jump, lunge and jump. Or you can even just add a little hop at the front to switch your legs. Hop, hop. Again, please, this is an option. If it's too much with two, you can do one. And you can also do your body weight if you want to, just jumping and jumping. Jumping is not necessary for everyone, whether that's your neighbours below you or your body and your joints aren't feeling up for it. So please stick to the stepping out if you would like. Wherever it is, I'm hoping your legs are burning and they're on fire. And I should say, if you're jumping, I sometimes find it quite hard to hold the weight up by my shoulders. I kind of panic that I'm going to smack myself in the face. So I personally like to hold here. Up to you. Whoosh. Really got to push though. All right. Woo. Shoulder press. Whack the weight onto the shoulders. Nudge with the legs if you need. One or both arms. One or both dumbbells. Press and release. That option is not right for everyone. So if it wasn't right for you, please don't think, oh, I failed. You haven't. It just wasn't right for you. Whatever you did was perfect. Whatever you chose. And this is here. This video is here. You can do this again in the future if you think, oh, I didn't and I fancied it. Do it another time. No. Come on. Boosh. Yeah, nice, well done. Right, so you've got the option again to do deadlifts. You've got the option if you like to do it a bit more explosive, or we can add a swing. So that's where you can either take your feet a bit wider, press both dumbbells together, swing through and snap up, swing through and snap up. You can keep your feet under the hips and swing and snap, swing and snap. Noticing that it's all about swinging the weight backwards so the load is in my hips rather than swinging forwards. It's about the swing back, swing back. And if it's too much of one, two, you hold one dumbbell. Just going to make it a little bit more explosive. Instead of you just hinging with control, a weight is swinging you back, so it's really pushing more load in the back body. If it means you feel your back or you round your back, regress to deadlifts. Pow, pow. Yes, well done. And then finishing with alternating side bends. A nice opportunity to let the heart rate come back down again. Right and left. And I am sweaty. How did we feel? Did we like adding the extra spice? If you again repeat this and you think, oh, I liked that, I like that, I just don't know why I just went with a totally different accent to my own. If you liked it, you think, I want to add that next time in the first round, go do it again. Give it a go both rounds through. Like I said, this is me speaking to a camera. I don't know what's in front of me. So you really have to make it work for you as well. I'm trying to give you something so you don't have to think too much, but we have to do the final decision, right? Do what's right for your body. Slowly there, we're going to stretch. Another 5 seconds. Can you bend a little bit further? And perfect. Relax. Put your weights down. I'm going to put them well away this time so I don't try and stand or kick on them. Have a little shake off. Please do not leave yet. Please just stick around for what, like 3 minutes max for the stretch? 3 minutes, bang on. Stretch your shoulders, take one arm across. When we strengthen a muscle, the muscle is shortening and it's contracting, and it stays like that unless we take a pause to let it relax and re-lengthen. If the muscle is continuously feeling tight, it starts to pull on where it's attaching to our joints. So that's where we can start to find ourselves in a wrong or different position. So taking the time to pause afterwards to just re-lengthen and relax the muscle, switch arms, is what helps us hopefully avoid injuries. Can't guarantee it, but it's helping us. And also, anytime we do a workout, it's stress on the body, stress on the nervous system. So by taking a pause, a few minutes at the end to just stretch and breathe, it helps to find balance again with the nervous system. So it's great to bring stress up as long as we can bring it back down. So it's balance, life is balance, isn't it? Stretch your biceps, take your hands to the side, pull the fingers upwards and then turn your thumbs upside down. So it's almost like you've got it wringing out the bicep. Keep pulling the fingers in so it will slightly pull on the forearms as well. And then just twist them the other way. Again, it should feel like a little wringing out in the muscle in here. Pulling the fingers back towards your forearms. I'm so sweaty. Perfect. Stretching the quads if you need to. Hold on to something for balance. Pick up your right foot, pull the heel towards your butt. And as you pull the heel in, you should feel it start to pull down the front of the thigh. And if you want more, squeeze your bum a little bit. That's going to help open into the hip. And then just gently push your hips forward as you think of pulling the knee away from the hip. And then we'll just give you a little bit more. Never pain. We never find pain. I'm so sweaty. And switch your legs. Find balance. Hold on if you need. La la la. Whoa. How did you find that workout? I personally love repeating a workout twice. Means I know what's coming the second time around, so I know where I can improve, where I need to pull back, go push harder. Just been using fold forwards, releasing your back and the hamstrings, the backs of the legs. Tuck your chin so your neck can relax. You don't need to bounce here at the start. When we're warming up, we move. At the end, we just kind of relax.
Why? One's trying to like one time your muscles warm at the end, and at the start it's not one we're trying to warm it up with movement. Roll up, have a little shake off, and give yourself a big round of applause, a pat on the back. Well done. So good. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you got a great workout, and hopefully see you another time soon.